So we've talked about the Mets farm system before and how it is very top heavy and you have a lot of stars that are kind of bunched together. Ronny Mauricio, Francisco Alvarez, Brett Baty as your top big three. There are some guys that don't get talked about a lot, but they've actually been playing extremely well in the minor league system. So we each have three guys deep in our farm system that have kind of fallen under that tier one, those top 100 prospects that you usually see on Baseball Prospectus and MLB Pipeline. So let's flash the light on some of the more underrated prospects.
I think both of us took two different ways. I'm going to be breaking down kind of that second and third tier of prospects. Mets fans got kind of the lower, under the radar, not top 30 prospects that you need to maybe the analytically driven guys. Love those kind of analytical gems.
Andrew is mainly just looking at guys who just look like a ball player.
I like guys with that dog mentality who's got that trait of a baller. That's my type of prospect. So I will start with the dogs. So starting off with number 11 prospect in the system. Your second round pick, Calvin Ziegler, 46th overall. That kind of 3-quarter delivery, 19 years old, 6-foot right-hander, just is now playing down in St. Lucie. Fastball hovering about 96. Again, not a flamethrower, but a guy with deception, with a really good curveball. If you look at his pipeline grade, 60 fastball, everybody gets a 60 fastball. So it really doesn't say anything. 50 grade curve and a 45 grade changeup. Control of 45, overall prospect grade on MLB Pipeline of 45. In those 33 and a third innings pitched, allowed 14 hits, 2 homers, 55 strikeouts, 20 walks, an opponent batting average of 126, a whip of just under 1 at .99. So he was one of the big Zach Scott pick, the only draft Zach Scott ever had. First pick in that draft, we don't talk about, but Calvin Ziegler looks to be a guy who potentially could be another one of those next group of relievers like we talked about in the last video. Be sure to check out the video talking about Drew Smith and Trevor Rosenthal. A lot of bullpen videos so far for us. Could be in that future group of bullpen with Deokas and the Josh Walkers, the Holdermans, the Drew Smiths. Just got drafted. He's only pitching, and like we said, hard against right-handed hitters. Lefties, we'll see how he does. He could be a definitely important, maybe high-leverage reliever. Future of the Mets, I've seen some people trying to already trade him, which is like, can we please stop? Just because we look at the pipeline, I'd say ETA probably 2025 if he does continue to progress, maybe 2024, but I would say 2025 ETA for Calvin Ziegler.
One thing you need to really remember about this draft is it was obviously centered around the guy we don't really talk about in the first round, but we do have a pick for not signing him, so maybe we kind of lucked out here, even though he will be entering the MLB draft. But let's be real for a second. The second round pick right there, Calvin Ziegler, I mean, looks to be a very quality arm. This was a very deep pitching draft last year, and Ziegler really was an arm that I really did like the upside a little bit more than Kumar Rocker. I think he showed a little bit more sustainability, especially from now compared to all the health issues that we do know about Rocker now. And he also has that delivery that can really throw someone off. And that's what I really like about him, that he can throw relatively hard and also be very versatile on the mound.
I've seen a lot of people yell about because he's probably going to project more as a reliever. There's nothing wrong with going with the guy. You see his great, you see his stuff. Its stuff is graded as a reliever. It's okay to take guys with great stuff. And if they don't turn out to be a starter, it's okay to be a reliever.
All right, so let's talk about Wyatt Young. This is my guy right here. 22 years old, 15th round pick last year. 5'7", small guy with great bat speed. Now, after a few games in high A, he was promoted to triple A. He slashed 352, 446, 437 with a 147 WRC plus. Good plate discipline. He has a plus glove at second base and shortstop. He was sent down to double A due to a roster move that they added somebody as a minor league signing. I'm still really pissed about that. He has cooled off a little bit, but he is quite the spark plug from anywhere in the lineup. MLB comparison, I'd say Tony Kemp, small guy, quick hands, limited power, but balanced in the rest of his all-around game.
We learned about this guy at the end of spring training. They brought this guy in, and this guy just kept hitting. I do like the comp to Tony Kemp, kind of that, like I said, smaller slap hitter. The idea of him being kind of that Swiss Army knife where he can play second, maybe he can play some short, play some third. We do love good batting average because we know good batting average means you're a really good ball player.
Batting average and RBIs make the man, so that's what we're looking at here.
I was going to say he's Jeff McNeil kind of liked, where he's just hitting everywhere he goes as a second baseman. Again, he's so shorter than, obviously he's a short king, but he's hit everywhere he's gone. Kind of just how Jeff McNeil is, not what you call a non-prospect.
I mean, you look at the Mets roster from last year. Obviously, it's not something that you really want to model because that team was pretty bad offensively. We did have two backup infielders, regularly off the bench with Guillorme and with Jonathan VR. You probably can maybe slot Wyatt Young in there.
Keeping with the guys on that second tier of prospects, I'm going with my man Jose Budo. Again, another one of these Binghamton Rumble ponies, just kicking ass. 24-year-old righty. The Mets signed in 2017. 47 innings pitched, 11 starts, a 3.63 ERA, 3-4 record, allowed 41 hits, allowed 5 homers, walked 19, struck out 61. Opponent batting average of 230 with a whip of 1.28. Is on the 40-man roster. So he could be, if the pitching were to ever continue, the injuries continue to pile up in the rotation, could be a guy you potentially see. ETA for me probably is next year. I'd like to get him out of AAA in the middle of the season. Hard throwing righty, hits about 97, 98, 6'1". Good mix with a curveball slider. Lefties have a 712 OPS against them in 2021. Righties hitting below a 700. Obviously last year in St. Lucie, and he's been pretty productive when he was in rookie ball in 2017. He dominated once he got in 2018 to Kingsport in Brooklyn. Brooklyn really kind of got slapped around in 2018, the walk problem. Then you go last year in 2019 in Columbia, bounced back to being 112 innings pitched. The Mets really don't have a true ace top pitching prospect, because Matt Allen can't stay on the field. So how much to a point would we even trust Matt Allen? But I don't think he's a top flight guy where you can be like, oh, he's the top of the rotation guy. I think he could be a quality 3 or 4 starter in the big leagues in a good rotation. He's your quality number 4, number 3, maybe number 5 on a good rotation.
All right. Well, this is one of my favorite guys, Josh Heshka, relief pitcher, 25 years old, undrafted free agent, signed back in 2019. This guy is a disgusting submariner. The windup may make your arm hurt by watching it, but he has established great command with it. He doesn't really throw hard, but he has extremely deceiving movement between his fastball and changeup. But his bread and butter is his rising slider, roughly 14 to 20 inches of vertical rise with a RPM ranging from 2,500 to 2,700. He was called up to AAA about a week ago. He has only allowed 1 earned run in just 21.2 innings in relief combined with AAA and AA. The obvious comparison is Taylor Rogers, but I'm also going to throw in a little bit of Sergio Romo with how deceiving spin that he creates with his slider. Now, obviously, with the bullpen having a huge selection of pending free agents next year, I do think that you will see this guy in the majors next year. And if you want to know a little bit more about his slider, he did actually post an entire breakdown thread on Twitter, kind of how he retooled this entire thing into a huge kind of UFO rising slider. I'll leave a link to that in the description. It's really cool. You guys should go check it out.
I got a bright spot from this year. And now with the Syracuse Mets, the AAA, Jake Mangum.
Mangum.
Fuck.
Gum.
That is Jake Mangum. I can't say his fucking name. Jake
Magnum condoms.
Magnum. Mangum. Why do I go into man, not mag? Why the fuck do I get to?
He's having a tough time pronouncing this, so it's Jake Mangum.
26-year-old outfielder, switch hitting outfielder, throws left, 4th round pick in 2019. Didn't really do much in 2021. Actually had a pretty good year in AA after being called up from Brooklyn. He didn't really get 206 in Brooklyn slash line, 289 and a 412 slug. Actually had a higher slug than on base. And one of these guys who can fly, slap hitters, not going to hit for much power. Player, I'm going to say this is going to be a throwback to any early 2000s knowers of ball. He kind of screams Michael Bourne to me. Slap hitter, but not a lot of power. He's going to put the ball in play. Can steal some bases when you need. Obviously, he's not to a Michael Bourne where he's going to steal 40 in the season, 30 in the season. But I think can steal 15 to 20 bags if you let him run, let him loose. Maybe he could be the next man up, and maybe a Plummer or a Khalil Lee were to go down. I think he would probably be the next man up in the outfield. So I think you can definitely see him potentially this year. If not this year, maybe next year in some emergency situations for Jake Mangum.
Well, my last guy, he has the same name as me, and that's cool. Carson Seymour, 6th round pick last year, 23 years old, 6'5", 220 pounds, quite the big boy. Big ground ball specialist. He says no to walks. That's why we like him. Fastball in the upper 90s. He's touched 98 to 99 multiple times this year. He also has a great 12-6 curveball with a low spin and heavy profile slider. Currently in Brooklyn, could definitely reach AA this year. And his Twitter handle is also Cheese Chucker. So that brings me to the question, what is the best cheese?
Sharp cheddar with some mozzarella. Maybe if you're a type of guy who just likes a good ham and cheese, a good American, white American. I do like regular or yellow American. But you know what a sneaky cheese is? The white American. I got that at Walmart one time. It slaps hard, like white American with some Black Forest ham with some Miracle Whip on a sandwich, a sub. It's different. If you're a cheese fry guy, good little mozzarella. That works. That's the best kind of cheese. But also fastballs at 100 with some stinky cheese. That's also pretty good.
The fact that I got a full-on analysis about that, that makes me happy. That low-key makes me happy. I'm not going to lie. I